I suppose I should just let you off the hook. What, because you're a handsome prince? Hey everyone, what is up? It's Lady Sweetheart and welcome back to the Disney Princess Challenge. So as you can see, we are here with our two frogs, Naveen and Tiana, and as you might imagine, Tiana is giving Naveen a piece of her mind. Because to her perspective, this is all Naveen's fault, and to be quite honest, I think she's kind of right. I could definitely see where she feels that way. It's actually the next night. These two have been traipsing through the jungle all day, and they actually came along what seems to be an abandoned campsite where someone else had clearly camped here before, and luckily for them, they're not here at this time. Oh my goodness, they can talk about flies. Wow, I'm having her do it. I just want to see what happens. Just looks like a normal conversation to me, but that is hilarious to me that they can talk about flies. You also may notice that they are still in their formal wear because they don't have any other clothes. You know, they basically were teleported to this strange place in exactly what they were wearing. So not only did they have to traipse through the jungle all day, they had to traipse through the jungle in formal wear. Thankfully, it is only spring in the game, so it's not super hot in Selvadorada yet. But it's about 10:30 at night. They are both pretty tired, so Prince Naveen, despite all of his flaws, as a gentleman, is gonna sleep over here on the sleeping bag, and he's gonna let Tiana take the tent. Now, this here is something you definitely don't see in your Sims game every day. Also, it says that he's asleep, but apparently the frog, or rather toad, apparently their eyes don't close. I wonder if that's really a thing, like if in real life, like toads and frogs, their eyes don't close. Now I'm very curious to find that out. You'll also see, like, I didn't build this at all, but I did tweak a few things, and he will see that I just couldn't resist putting these little frog chairs here. Naveen and Tiana probably feel like it was too soon, but I feel like it was pretty funny. So it's the next morning. It's about 6 in the morning. And luckily for Tiana and Naveen, their frog spell has finally worn off. But not so luckily, they don't actually have toilets. So that morning pee that Tiana is taking is going to be real uncomfortable right about now, especially being that she's in a formal gown. I just can't imagine what that has to be like. She's also pretty hungry, but luckily there is a grill nearby, so I'm going to have her come over and grill. Isn't there? Yeah, grilled fruit. That sounds like it could be a breakfast thing. Tense from recalling your first fire. That's super interesting. Because if you remember in the last episode, there was a fire at Princess Lottie's ball, so sort of appreciating the continuity there, Sims. And it looks like Naveen has finally gotten up as well, also needing to use the bush. This bush is going to get awfully nasty before things are all said and done. So Tiana and Naveen are enjoying some of this delicious fruit that Tiana managed to find and grilled up for them this morning. And they're talking about what their plan for the day is going to be. You know, yesterday, before they came across this abandoned camp, they tried to find their way out of the forest. Little did they know that Dr. Facilier actually, as part of the curse, made it so that they really can't escape Selvadorada. Now they're discussing maybe their plan should be to see if there's anything around the area that might help them. I was sitting and wondering why these two have romance, and then I realized I did have to make them kiss in the last episode. So before they begin exploring for the day, they're going to take a look around and see if they can't find any clothes that may have been left behind from the previous campers, because they're getting pretty tired of walking around in their formal wear. I mean, it's probably starting to stink about now. It's been over 24 hours that they've been wearing these same clothes. I also imagine it's probably not the most comfortable thing to be wearing in the middle of the jungle. So they did both manage to find some male and female clothing that was left behind. Unfortunately, the shoes that were there didn't fit, so they still have to wear their formal wear shoes. Also, unfortunately for both Tiana and Naveen, the clothing that was left behind isn't exactly either of their styles. You know, Tiana's complaining about her clothes. Prince Naveen actually enjoyed hearing Tiana vent all of her frustrations. Complaining can be healing. Could Prince Naveen like complaints? Sure, why not? You know, we know this is not how Tiana normally dresses. I don't know that she feels super comfortable in this outfit. And I'm sure Naveen is making some kind of quip that, you know, she looks just fine to him. But he's like, look what I'm wearing. Like, this shirt is way too small. And this is hardly the type of luxury clothing I'm used to. And I am so amused by the fact that Naveen's shirt says teddy bear. I don't know how long it's going to take me not to laugh when I see that in the corner of the screen. But anyway, I'm going to have these two set off and see if they can find something that can help them. Luckily for these two, after traipsing through the jungle for a little while, they do find their way to at least some semblance of civilization. I love how wherever they go, Tiana always moves much more quickly than Naveen does. I don't know if that's his lazy trait or what, but he always strolls at this very casual pace. So the first thing that they want to figure out is where exactly they are. Neither of them has been here before, so they're not really sure where they're at. So that's the first order of business. Now that they know there are people here, they have someone that they can ask. So you may recognize they're actually over at the bar in Selvadorada. But Tiana notices this nice lady over here and decides to go over and introduce herself. So if you have watched the Princess and the Frog movie, this lady might look familiar to you. This is none other than Mama Odie. Now, I did not create this sim. I got them from the gallery, but I thought whoever made Mama Odie did such a good job. I mean, I definitely recognized right away who this is meant to be. And of course, unbeknownst to them, Mama Odie is actually a very good person for them to have run into, because Naveen and Tiana aren't aware of this yet, but Mama Odie has some magic of her own. So Mama Odie has told Tiana and Naveen that they are in fact in Selvadorada, and that they're basically in a jungle out in the middle of nowhere, which I feel like they probably figured that part out already. And also, as it turns out, Mama Odie lives just around the corner from the bar here, and she lets Tiana and Naveen know she has some valuable information for them, but she doesn't really feel comfortable talking about it here. So Mama Odie gives them her address and tells them it would very much be in their best interest to come and see her, and that she's pretty sure she could give them the help that they need. So Tiana and Naveen have made their way over to the address that Mama Odie gave them just as night is setting in. And luckily for them, Mama Odie has made her way back in. So Naveen and Tiana come over to speak with Mama Odie now that they're in a little bit more private space. And Tiana begins to tell Mama Odie exactly what she knows about her and Naveen getting here. And Mama Odie, you know, of course, already knows this. So in the meantime, Mama Odie is also consulting her crystal ball and basically knows already how Tiana and Naveen have come to be here. You know, as I had mentioned before, Mama Odie has some magic herself. And Tiana's explaining, you know, they just want to make their way back. You know, that neither one of them wants to be in the middle of the jungle here. Neither one of them wants to be in the company of the other. And they can't wait to just get back home to their normal lives. And Mama Odie, of course, knows this, but she's explaining to them that unfortunately it isn't that simple. And unfortunately, the reason they are here is because of magic. And the spell that they're under can't be broken that easily. Mama Odie knows the magic it would require to get them back home, although she has the magic it would require to break the spell that has Tiana and Naveen constricted to the jungle. She can't perform that magic without certain items, and that's where she's going to need their help. Of course, Tiana wants to know, like, well, how can we help you? You know, you have magical powers. We don't. But obviously, Mama Odie, you know, she's an elder. She doesn't get around as well anymore. So where she needs Tiana and Naveen to come in is she's telling them that in order to access the magic that she would need to break this spell, she's going to need them to collect 2 very specific crystals. Crystals that can only be found in the jungle. One of which is called Alexandrite and the other is called Amazonite. And in addition to these 2 crystals, they would also need to bring back 8 other unique collectibles. That's what she needs to access the magic that they need to get out of this place. And she's also making sure that Naveen and Tiana understand that this is going to require them to work together. You know, the jungle is a dangerous place, and they need to have each other's backs in order to get this done. But it is getting late, so Tiana comes over and thanks Mama Odie for her help before they take off. I suppose this is Naveen's way of thanking her, I don't know. So Tiana and Naveen have made their way back to their little campsite, just eating a little bit of dinner. I imagine that Mama Odie probably gave them some food to help them out. They both look super uncomfortable right now, mostly because of the disgusting bush. And then they decide to start a little fire and just talk about their plans for the next day. You know, obviously, they're going to have to do as Mama Odie told them and find that Alexandrite, Amazonite, and some extra collectibles. So they also decide that if they have to work together, they probably should get to know each other a little bit better. And of course, it doesn't take long for Tiana to talk about her dream of owning a restaurant in San Myshuno. And it seems like having a chance to talk about that has put her in a much better mood. And they gained a sentiment, so it definitely seems to be helping. And Naveen is telling Tiana basically his whole story and about how he hasn't been very responsible thus far. And it's to the point where even though he's a prince, his parents are about to cut him off from not only his royal position, but also financially. And so Naveen is telling Tiana the story that we, of course, already know from his time with Dr. Facilier. And that is basically he came to San Myshuno to try to make a match with Lottie. Because one of the conditions of him remaining in good standing with his parents was he needed to settle down romantically, and that was what he was hoping to get out of attending Lottie's ball. And I'm guessing Tiana is probably telling Naveen, like, with him being a prince, he is probably just about as close to her best friend Charlotte's dream come true as anybody could get. So it says Prince Naveen shows signs of the jester personality. I could definitely see that. So I'm going to have Tiana ask Naveen about Charlotte because, you know, Charlotte and Tiana have been best friends their whole lives. And I imagine that Tiana is pretty protective of Lottie and wants to make sure that Naveen doesn't have any kind of bad intentions for her. So he said, I like Charlotte. She is pretty cool. He didn't say anything about, like, having a crush on her or anything like that, but he thinks she's pretty cool. But it is getting pretty late, so luckily for these two, there is a little camping shower. I don't even know what you call this, but so it's the next day. It's actually like 5 in the evening. And these two are trying to make their way through the jungle. I did send them to the bar again to get supplies because I don't want them like dying in the middle of the jungle. And it looks like Naveen managed to knife his way through. Tiana does not look too pleased about the progress they made. Considering it's like almost 6 at night, I don't blame her. So it says Prince Naveen is having a really enjoyable hike in the jungle when he suddenly hears a sim screaming a short ways off. He sprints in the direction of screaming and finds a sim that is being menaced by a carnivorous plant. What should he do? Grab the sim and run, create a distraction, higher handing a skill leads to better results, or confuse the plant with spider repellent, consumes Dr. Parker's spider repellent. So they have a lot of spider repellent, and this is like Prince Naveen. He has no handiness skill. Like, the boy has done nothing his whole life. I'm very surprised he managed to machete his way where even the furthest that he's gotten. So I'm actually going to do this with the Dr. Parker spider plant. Save the sim, desperately trying to figure out any way to save the other sim. Prince Naveen tries to use some spider repellent. The gamble pays off and the plant slithers away. The other sim is so grateful that he gives Prince Naveen a bunch of stuff he collected. Well, hey, that worked out for us. Because while I got a lot of things, I don't believe I got everything. And oh my gosh, it looks like there's bees there. That's all these two need is for anything to make them more uncomfortable. As you can see, they're both pretty miserable right now. Also, you'll notice they're wearing different clothes today. It's actually super hot here today. So they did have to find some cooler types of clothing. Of course, they still haven't been able to change their shoes. And they get pretty discouraged because just walking a few feet, they're encountered by yet another barrier here in the jungle. But of course, they can't go through this gate because there are doors there. So Tiana is just like, I can't believe we did all that work and like we didn't get anywhere. They keep wanting Tiana to be high maintenance. This has actually come up off camera as well. Like, I feel like right now, squeamish works better. Like, if I could guarantee that the high maintenance trait replaced the squeamish trait, I would take it. But I don't know for these if they let you pick what trait you're replacing, so I would rather not do that right now. And Naveen's like, look, I saw a path over there, so let's just try going that way. Like, we shouldn't give up yet. Our poor girl Tiana is so discouraged, and she's like, I just can't believe I'm in this mess because of you anyway. She is over it. I feel like Naveen is overhearing her complain as well. But luckily, Naveen was correct, and there is another path. So they are going to go ahead and check that way out, even though it's like 6:30 at night. It's kind of making me laugh seeing Tiana out here in the middle of the jungle in some high heels, which also happen to be sinking through the rock right now for whatever reason. So they are contemplating whether they should walk across this bridge or not. And they decide, obviously, to go for it because they're never going to find the things that Mama Odie needs to get them out of here unless they give it a try. But my goodness, like, what a beautiful sight over here with the waterfall. And Naveen's telling Tiana, like, let's just take a moment here just to enjoy this natural beauty over here. You know, he honestly feels a little bit guilty. He realizes that Tiana has a good point, that she wouldn't be here and in this situation if it weren't for her trying to help him out. So as much as Tiana is giving him a hard time about this, Naveen can definitely understand where she's coming from. And Naveen is telling her, you know, they might as well just make the best of the situation they're in. And Tiana's like, yeah, I suppose I should just let you off the hook just because, what, you're a handsome prince? And Naveen is like, wait, you think I'm handsome? And Tiana's response is, that's your takeaway from everything I just said, that I think you're handsome? So what's interesting is, as much as Naveen and Tiana have been fighting, it showed that they have a deep connection with each other. A lot of social bunny worthy things happened to Tiana today. You don't say. But we're pretending like they don't have their phones with them right now. I'm also having them eat their grilled cheese ready to eat because they were both pretty hungry. It is 10 o'clock at night, but they slept in pretty late today, and their energy is pretty good, so I'm going to have them continue on. It says Prince Naveen was forging through some thick vines a little too enthusiastically when his machete flew out of his hands and was lost in the thick jungle. That's not good, but I'm glad we at least have an extra one. Tiana still has one. It says a glint catches Prince Naveen's eye and he spies something shiny in the middle of a patch of vines. As he approaches, he notices that the vines seem to move menacingly and that a torn old boot sits among them. Is it evidence of another traveler who wasn't so lucky? Should Prince Naveen attempt to retrieve the shiny object or leave the hostile plants alone? Is it just me, or is anyone else thinking that the shiny object might be the machete he lost? I don't know. Okay, so it says leave the treasure, retrieve the treasure. High gardening skill leads to better results. Well, I don't think he has any gardening skill, so that's a no-go. Distract with flies, consumes plasma bat bait, which he does. I think they both have a ton of those for whatever reason. The tables at the bar had a bunch of those bat baits things, so I am going to have him do this because he does not have any gardening skill that I know of. It says Prince Naveen realizes that the plasma bat bait in his pocket could serve as the perfect distraction, blah, 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 blah. The treasure is his. That's great because we need all that kind of stuff that we can get. But I do want to check out what this treasure is that he may have gotten. It says Sprout Sapphire Gold Pererica. I don't even know if it's worth 9,000 simoleons. And it says it's a rare object. So, we've got one collectible. We still don't have the crystals we need. And looking further ahead, it is the proverbial fork in the road because they could go this way or they could come over here and go this way. I was going to say maybe they could each do one, but Tiana is the only one that has the machete right now. So I'm actually going to have her come over and clear the path with the machete. You know, Naveen was trying to convince Tiana to let him use it, but in Tiana's eyes, he hasn't exactly been doing the best job anyway, so she insisted to use it herself. And hey, good job there, girl. She got her way through, and I do feel like it took her a little bit less time, but we should have had Naveen do this one because this one is higher charisma, and I think he has a level 7 charisma or something. There are rustles as Tiana makes her way through the jungle, and she looks up to see a whole troop of sloths staring back. The sloths eye Tiana warily should she find a different way around or walk among the sloths. So she doesn't have a high charisma, but she does have this Guzmania pollinus flower, so let's just have her do that. They seem interested in the Guzmania pollinus flower. All right, so she did get through. So I was kind of hoping that we could at least get them inside the temple today. It doesn't look like we've quite made it there, but maybe there's some collectibles along here. So I am going to have them look for that while they're here. And it is 12:30 at night. What is this? You guys, it's Louis from the movie. I'm trying to see if they can interact with them, but they can't. So this place was definitely the closest that we could get to being like the bayou in the movie. This one, oh my goodness. Is this just water everywhere? I mean, they can fish, but I don't know that that's going to give them collectibles. What about this? They can do something with that. She can come over and dig. Maybe there's another one that Naveen can try to get. Oh, over here. So come over and dig. So at least they can get something done, even though they didn't get inside the temple. She's found Sadnum, so that's one more collectible. We're up to 2, but we still haven't gotten any of the crystals that we needed. And Naveen got Obtainium. Yeah, I don't think any of my Sims have ever been in this part of the jungle. I was trying to see if they maybe could swim or something over here because they are both desperate for fun. Open the treasure chest. Oh my goodness. I didn't even see this before. So they're definitely going to come and check that out. I don't think it's going to improve their fun. I was going to say it's 1:30 in the morning. I think what I'll do is just have them come back the next sim day because I don't want them to completely run out of their supplies. And as we've seen, these supplies have been really handy as they're trying to get through the different gates. Says he gained some simoleons and put some adventure gear and mystical relic in his inventory. So what is in here? Totacalam. Totakalama relic. It looks like a llama, obviously. Yeah, but like I said, it's 2 in the morning. I'm just gonna have them head back home and come back tomorrow. So it's the next morning, afternoon really. It's like 1:30. I just have these two getting something to eat and getting ready for their day, and this came up. It says attractiveness alert. Wow, what a sim. Prince Naveen, Maldonia just stopped what they were doing, stopped what they were thinking about for a moment and found themselves staring at Tiana Louie. That woman has so many of the qualities that make Prince Naveen's heart race as if it were on a cross-country marathon. Their beautiful features meet Prince Naveen's desires so readily that it's almost as if whatever created such a sim sculpted her specifically for Prince Naveen. Now the only thing left is to pick up their jaw and work up the courage to speak to such an Aphrodite. I mean, you've kind of already spoken to her. Hopefully Tiana will be kind enough to reciprocate Prince Naveen's feelings. I mean, it definitely doesn't seem like it so far, Naveen. Well, there you have it. So in spite of Tiana making his life a little bit difficult right now, it doesn't stop Naveen from catching some feels for our girl. But I do want to get these two off to get more supplies, so I'm going to send them over to the bar now that they know where the bar is. But before they purchase their supplies, it doesn't look like anyone is tending to the tables yet. I'm going to have them come over here and dance. Dancing is terrible. Tiana does not seem to be having a good time. Well, I'm not going to say she dislikes it because I want her to gain fun. So they're going to come over here and dance together just a little bit to hopefully get their fun to go up a little. I imagine that, Naveen probably convinced Tiana to come over and dance together. She doesn't look very convinced about it. But yeah, sort of like how Charlotte has always been the one to remind Tiana the importance of fun. I imagine in this case, Naveen is probably the one of the two. For sure, Naveen is one of the two that remembers that. So it is now evening in the game. Much to my unpleasant surprise, I discovered that once you use the machete on the gates, it doesn't keep them open for the duration of your time here. They all ended up having vines in front of them once again. So I had to have them try to go through all the gates that they went through before. But this one looks like it must be a different one. So I just had Naveen use his machete and he did something. I believe he helped was it the capybara or the sloths? I don't know. One of them he helped. It said they dropped a bunch of treasure, which I do want to check out, but then it also gave this: travel to the Miskin Royal Baths. The next stop along the path appears to be a natural pool. It might be the Miskin Royal Baths. Would you like to travel there now? Absolutely. So hopefully, maybe... Oh, okay, it takes us to a loading screen. Interesting. I was going to say, hopefully they can swim a little bit and get their fun back up, because as you're about to see, they're both tense again. All right, so this does look like the Miskin Royal Baths to me. Oh, there's a lady here. Anyway, yeah, so I want to see what was in this. It said that they dropped some Alexandrite. I was going to say that the pop-up said that the capybara or the sloths, I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry. I wasn't recording because I was like, y'all don't want to see me going through all those gates again. Like, that's pretty boring. But whichever one it was, it said that they dropped some crystals. So one of them was this Alexandrite, which is one of the ones we need, which is absolutely amazing. However, it said drop some crystals and I'm only seeing one. But that means the only Selvadorada specific crystal we still need is the Amazonite. As you can see, their fun levels are both still pretty bad again. But before I have them take a swim, I do want to see if there's any collectibles around here. I am not seeing anything. Well, I guess there's nothing to collect in this area, so I'm just going to have them go and take a little swim and hopefully improve their fun level. have to make sure they're wearing the correct swimwear outfit because remember, they're trapped out in the jungle. They would not have their regular swimwear. They would have to swim in their underwear, which sounds pretty uncomfortable, but after being in the heat all day, it probably feels pretty amazing. So these two are enjoying the nice cool water as well as discussing their plan from here on out, because while they were at the bar, they were actually able to purchase these liquid rush things, which I feel like must be a substitute for sleep. So they actually can try to skip sleeping tonight and just search the temple if they're able to manage to get there. Oh my goodness, this is exactly what they needed. I was going to say it's helping their fun, but for whatever reason, it's helping Tiana's fun and not Naveen's fun. I don't know why that is, but... So I definitely feel like these two would be splashing each other. Like, I definitely feel like that's the kind of dynamic they have. And I definitely need to make sure that Tiana splashes Naveen because, let's just be honest, our girl would definitely be splashing Naveen back. But they do seem to be having some much needed fun, so I am happy to see that. All right, I feel like they're both, where they need to be in terms of their fun for now. So I am going to see if we can get them a little further. I mean, we definitely can't go through there. And I think this is where we came from. So I'm going to have them both travel back through here. And hopefully we'll be able to figure out like where to go from here. So I feel like the day before, this was the one we went through. And we should probably try this one this time. Also, I feel like y'all would have put your regular clothes on by now. And yeah, hopefully we'll see a bush or something because they both really, well, Tiana especially really has to go. Okay, that's a little better. But yeah, I know we didn't go through here before because this looks a little different. Who knows what kind of creature is inside? What should Prince Naveen do? Leave the egg alone, examine the egg, but it's rocket science skill? Okay, whatever. Poke egg with flour, which we don't have one, so I guess we're just gonna have to leave it alone. Sadly. Oh, but this is it. We got to the temple. At least we managed to do that. Yay, we made it to the Amiskin temple. But the first order of business is to find Tiana, poor Tiana, a place. Okay, this works out perfectly. Look, y'all can have your own bush, okay? You usually have to share it, and it's kind of gross. But they definitely need to do that. And they're getting hungry again. I'm also, while they're, taking their little pee, I'm going to look around and see if there's anything here that they could possibly collect. I know inside the temple there will be, but I'm just kind of seeing, like, if around the temple, if there's anything interesting, like, I don't know, like this. This looks like it should be something. But apparently it's just decor. But before they go in, I am also going to have each of them drink one of their liquid rush things and also eat their grilled cheese ready to eat. Oh my goodness, like I definitely need to give her a hair now, but Anastasia Louis had one male baby with Prince Simon Louis. Baby Alvin, how adorable. We haven't seen Anastasia in ages. Okay, I mean, it didn't completely replenish their energy, but they're doing okay. So here we go, y'all. We have officially made it inside the Selvadoradian temple. I'm super excited because I've never had any Sims come into the temple in Selvadorada to explore it. But I am going to go ahead and leave this off here. Next time, we will definitely look around this temple and see what we're able to find and hopefully find the missing crystal that we still need to collect. Please consider liking the video if you did enjoy it. Not only does it help my channel out, but it also gives me really good feedback about whether or not you're enjoying the series. I'd definitely love to hear how you think things are going in the jungle so far with Naveen and Tiana. I do always love hearing what you have to say. It really does make my day. You all are the absolute best. I'll see you later. Bye.